but she's not soft on the candidates. The test requires no noise at all. One girl was breathing loudly. She was disqualified. As the teacher put down the apple, the test began. The questions are really weird. A 100 kilograms sheep and a 100 kilograms elephant fell at the same time. Which animal will be the first to hit the ground? But fortunately, Pete's IQ is very high. The teacher only took 3 bites of apple. He announced that it was time to take the test. After only 3 minutes, all the papers were marked. Of the candidates in this classroom, Peter was the only one who made it to the top. The rest of the class couldn't believe it. But that doesn't mean Pete passed. He had to take a second written exam. During the lunch break, candidate Amy dropped her pencil down the drain. The other candidates just stood by and watched. They didn't want to help her. The test was about to start. It's too late to go back and get it. The kind-hearted Peter had a bright idea. He broke his pencil in 2 and gave one to Amy. Amy was so grateful. She said she'd be sure to thank him. The second round of the written test began. This round was even harder. It's a disaster for the candidates, because it's a paper they haven't studied before. Not only have they not learnt it, they've never even heard of it. Candidates are full of anxiety. Some are so nervous that they give up. Half the time had passed. That's when Amy smiled back. She's finished her paper. Then she threw down a slip of paper. It was covered in answers. It was a thank you to Pete. But Pete wouldn't read it. He kicked it away. Then he remembered what the invigilator had said. Look at the questions carefully and examine them. Pete realized that the answers to each question, is hidden in the previous question. This round of exams, it's not their knowledge base that's being tested. It's their ability to solve problems. Sometimes the question is more important than the answer. The final selection. A total of 4 people came to the final exam. The examiner took 5 people through the sewers to a secret manor house. The 4 of them looked around the room with curiosity. It's a labyrinth. But then Amy appeared. It turns out she's not a candidate. She's a teacher. The reason why she pretended to be a student was to test the candidate's goodness, whether they can resist cheating. And those who cheated and didn't help, they were all eliminated. The final test asked 4 people to get out of the maze in a few minutes and get to the top of the building and ring the bell. Only the top 3 will pass. Even if all 4 people pass, one of them will be eliminated. The 4 were taken to different locations. Peter thought about what the examiner had just said. He could get through with his eyes closed, so he gently touched the lock and found the braille hidden in the lock. The braille was a guide to where to go. Jack's method is even simpler. First, he used a tool to get himself up into the vent, and then he climbed up to the roof. He got to the top of the building with his wits and his strength. Jim, on the other hand, used his memory, and deleting the wrong routes in his head, until he found the right way through the maze. Tom, on the other side, played a clever trick, and stood behind Jim on purpose. When Jim found the exit, Tom followed him and knocked him down. He made it to the top of the building first, and that's when Pete picked Jim up. Jack and the 3 of them met up and rang the bell together. The examiner announced that Tom had been eliminated. This makes Tom very puzzled. Although the examination requirements, only the first 3 to the finish line can pass the test, but the remaining 3 rang the bell at the same time. This labyrinth was a test of their ability to see if they could work together as a team. Tom hurt the other candidates in order to advance, so he was eliminated. Finally, the 3 of them successfully completed the test.